Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back. It took me a while to think of something that I really wanted to discuss because honestly, I think that's another end goal of this vlog series. I want to allow for discussion between viewers, I suppose. So, that Spider-Man Far From Home movie coming out soon, like in July. I can't say I'm terribly excited for it because after Avengers Endgame, I mean, what does Marvel really have to offer for us? Now I know they did acquire, you know, a good percentage of Fox in their film division. So we're gonna get X-Men and Fantastic Four at some point. Plus, they have all these other superheroes, had their debut films right before Endgame, like Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel and Black Panther and this new Spider-Man movie. But it's somehow I don't feel like those characters' introductions from their first films up to Avengers Endgame are terribly interesting. Doctor Strange is cool, but Peter Parker isn't nearly as compelling as I feel that the original Sam Raimi trilogy with Tobey Maguire was, but that might just be my personal bias, as I just feel those movies with the visionary director are more memorable. You know, Sam Raimi, Christopher Nolan with his Batman trilogy, James Gunn with his Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, hopefully. And that's a Marvel movie I wouldn't mind seeing in the future, Guardians Volume 3, because those first two movies in that trilogy, I suppose, are actually kind of nice. But yeah, it's fatigue, I guess. I remember year two ago, a bunch of online influencers were talking about we're talking about how there are so many superhero films out at a time now. It's the film cultural zeitgeist that a lot of people were getting fatigued of superhero movies, tired of them. I didn't believe it then, but now, having just experienced one of the biggest film events and comic book film events in history, I kind of understand where they're coming from. Especially, it's a combination of that and I just saw Dark Phoenix a week or two ago, and that wasn't a very good film, but I think it's going to be difficult for superhero films. I think we're going to see them die down in the coming years, and hopefully a new either genre or just series of really good movies comes out to support the general pop culture landscape, because we've had Marvel since '08, but that I don't know, hopefully another franchise will come around and take the mantle of that, because you need, I love some of these indie films, some of these Netflix films, but I mean, after Endgame, it's like, how many franchises are there that people are really looking forward to? I know John Wick is very popular. I haven't dipped my toes into that franchise yet, but even, you know, that trilogy just had its closer. So, like, I don't know. The film landscape in 2020 and beyond is looking intriguing. It's looking like, I don't know. There aren't a ton of projects that I think are going to be, like, I haven't heard about any interesting films. That's not entirely true. There was an ad for a Netflix film that was like a Scorsese movie with Pacino, De Niro, Harvey Keitel, and Joe Pesci. That sounds neat. But I mean, that's for like film. That's a film for like film geeks and stuff. I don't know how the general public is going to be. I don't know what franchise is really going to captivate the general public like these Marvel movies have for the past 2 decades. Or I guess decade, because, well, you know, because even though they're not a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the original Spider-Man trilogy and the X-Men stuff, those were captivating Marvel properties for audiences for a while at least. And then they really started getting good once we had a finite cinematic universe. But I don't know. I think the whole Disney remake situation is hopefully gonna die down a bit, because people have kind of gotten used to Disney's whole shtick in regards to that, because, like, what was it? Like, Beauty and the Beast sold well, but I think that might have been the point where people were coming around to Disney's whole scheme of remaking films with, like, no identity of their own and just trying to remake the animated property for an audience that thinks cartoons aren't capable of mature theatrical film storytelling. But, you know, that's just my opinion. And considering, I don't know how well Aladdin did in theaters, but I think people weren't too terribly convinced with that film. And The Lion King is going to come out, I think, soonish. I think in 2019. Could be wrong. That has an interesting cast, but I'm interested to see if Jon Favreau and his whole his CGI only movies are really gonna work for a film audience in 2020 and beyond. But yeah, what do you guys think will be the next, or what has the potential to be the next big film franchise? Star Wars is about to cap off the Skywalker saga, so hopefully maybe in the future we can get films and television series and just a lot of content from that franchise that is centered around more obscure and untapped ideas from a cinematic universe that has like crazy creature and character and location designs. That'd be kind of neat. Star Wars back in the popular film culture, but it's like not headed by a bunch of really by like a cast of mainly white American or English actors, which I don't whatever, I'm not trying to push an agenda, like a ton of people have a problem with that. But yeah, what do you guys think will be the next big popular film series? Let me know.